Alexa, lower the volume. Good morning. Good morning, Facebook and Instagram family. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Back to the World, my brother and my sister's keeper, and Sonetquity Publishing Company and Book Club. It's a beautiful throwback Thursday. We have heavily overcast sky today. It's cold outside. We have 100% chance of rain that's on its way. And I know I got started a little bit late, but I had errands to run. And let me show you how goofy I am. All right. And I guess, hold on, I'm going to find out am I the only one goofy today. Here's the deal. I had some important merchandise to mail out today. And I got up with this in mind, man. I packed up everything and got the postage correct, the whole bit. And I hauled ass to the post office. I was trying to get there before the rain came down. We have 100% chance of rain today. So this was something that came about business-wise last night at the last minute. So I was just scrambling to try to get things going out today early. So I run over to the post office, man. When I get there, the post office usually opens at 8:30. So I'm there at about 15 minutes after 8. And I see some people just sitting around waiting as well. So I go up to the door and I peek inside, see if anyone was there. Well, that was after it was about 8:35, 8:40. I peeked inside. I didn't see anyone. So I went back and sat down. There was about 4 or 5 people ahead of me. About 2 or 3 more came. Right? So everybody's standing around, man. And we're sitting there. So now all of a sudden it's like 9:10. And we're like, what the hell? But you see, what happens is everybody gets caught up in the matrix, man. And the crazy thing is, man, we play follow the leader for things that does not benefit us or achieve us whatsoever. So finally it's just dawned on me, man. I'm saying, damn. So I walked all the way to the rear of the post office and I took a seat by myself away from the rest of the crowd. So everybody's still sitting there waiting. You got a few other people coming. So as soon as they walked inside the door to the lobby area, to the postal box area, everybody just pretty much stood around and did everything that everybody else did. So finally, I say to myself, man, go take another look, man. So I walked up to the door. I peeped in. What's going on, Reg? All right. I peeped in and I didn't see anybody again. And I'm like, man, it's almost 35, 40 minutes and nobody's here. So I walked away and then I turned and I looked at a note of some kind on the door. When I see that, I walk back to the door and I decide to read the note. The note basically said that they were going to be closed January 9th, man, in observance of the funeral for President Carter. So I made the announcement. And then everybody's looking like Boo Boo the Fool. You know what I mean? And then everybody's looking at me like, I just spoiled the party. You think that they would have been, hey, man, thank you for letting us know. They looked at me like, what? Oh, man, I didn't write the note. That's just going to show you, man, how we respond. But now, if that would have been something that could have benefited us monetarily or could have benefited us even spiritually, we would not have trusted following the leader and doing what the status quo was doing. In other words, everybody that walked into that lobby, they fell in line and did the same thing that the people ahead of them did. Nothing. Nobody read the sign. Everybody assumed that the person before them knew what was going on. But anyway, that was my morning. Any music that you may hear in the background, we don't own the rights to. But any comments, questions, or anything that you care to share, man, hit us in the boxes down below. I'm not gonna be on too long this morning, man. I have quite a full schedule today. I like to say I like to give out a happy birthday to a happy heavenly birthday to my brother Daryl, aka Polo. Happy birthday, brother. We all miss you, man. The entire family miss you, man. You are deeply missed, man. But trust this, man. Trust this. You're definitely not forgotten. All right? Nothing but love for you and the kids and the rest of the family, man. All right? Rest well. Next, this is, this morning, and again, let me thank all of our book club new members that signed up and that joined us on our Facebook page and on Instagram. Thank you guys for coming on board, man. We look forward to your input, your insight, and your involvement. We're looking forward to each and every one of you, man, giving us something to grow on, giving us something to learn. That's what we're there. We're there for literacy. We're there for all things literary. So, but I just want to send out a PSA. If there's any of you, new members or old, that has joined our book club, and if any of you have experience, or not just experience, but the desire to host and be an admin for a book club, man, inbox me. I am one of the admins. It's myself and a brother, Reggie Bateman. Any of you that are interested in operating and actually facilitating a book club, DM me, all right? Inbox me. And this is not just something that I want you to do just on social media, just on Facebook, and then you go to you go and check it the whole bit. No. Ultimately, man, we want to give you a salary for operating this, because we want you to operate the one on social media, and then we're going to have an actual website that you'll be keeping up, and you'll be acknowledging and reporting everything from different events that we give, different functions, different gifts. I don't know how many of you have gone to our www.bookshop.org/shop/Sonetquity webpage. If you have, you will notice that I've changed our photo. I've changed our picture. So I want to see how many of you are going to actually pay attention and tell me what's the difference. All right? Yeah. Again, this morning, I just wanted to come and have a chat with you guys. Actually, I was thinking about Brother Harold. How you doing? Who is that? Brother Joe. And we got Reggie on board, man. Glad to have you guys on board. I was going to have like a fireside chat with you guys, but I'd already missed my mark. I didn't get here for 10 o'clock in order to do the program. So I didn't want to waste any more time lighting the fire and the whole bit, man, and then have to set up, and we have to change things around, change the cameras around, and that was just taking up a little more of our time. So I refused to do that, and we just went this way. But I just want to share some things with you, man. This is somewhat of a fireside chat. We're not talking business. I'm not going to talk business this morning. But it probably come in the equation. I'm not going to talk about being our brother and our sister's keeper from an incarceration standpoint. You know, none of these things are anything that I'm going to speak on directly, but what I'm about to give you is a testament, and it encompasses all three. Okay? You know, there's that fire that's going on out in Los Angeles right now, man, and it looks like a scene from a movie, Armageddon. It looks like a scene from Mad Max in the Thunderdome. I mean, you see fireballs flowing across the highway. You know, you just see kindles of fire and flames and ashes, all the smoke, the wind's blowing the whole bit. No one could have written a scene that would have matched the chaos, the horror. Come on, book club members, give me some words. Give me give me some words and some to add to this right here. I mean, it's just some. You know, I'm laughing to keep from crying actually, because what I want to share with you is nothing but a godsend. So last night I received a call. I received a call from an old friend of mine that I knew back in LA. We used to ride motorcycles together. And we didn't live too far from one another out in the valley. You know, we lived just past Encino, almost up to Calabasas. And so my guy phoned me, and I answered the phone, and he was kind of out of breath, man. He was talking kind of low. I could hear him kind of wheezing a bit. And what he was telling me is that, basically, you know, when I saw that it was him calling, I figured he was calling me just to tell me about the fire and everything, the whole bit. And he did actually. But what he had to tell me, it shocked and dismayed me. And he was telling me that the fire was moving closer and closer to his home. And he had been running out. He had a bunch of relatives and friends, man, trying to save most of their valuable and most important papers, anything that they can grab. And he said at one point they had a problem getting out of the cove and getting back on the main freeway because the fire was coming all across Ventura Boulevard and what have you. Right? So I was like, wow. You know, I said, man, you okay? He said, yeah. He said, I'm okay. He said, man, but now keep in mind, I haven't heard from this guy in about maybe a year. And he said, man, you know, I just wanted to give you a call and just let you know, man, the house where you used to live, house that I owned, not down the road from him. He said that entire little enclave was pretty much destroyed. He said the house that I once owned, man, was burned to the ground. I let that resonate for a minute. And I thought about it. At first I was trying to act concerned, but it's like it caught me by surprise. So as he's talking and he's describing the chaos, he's describing the horror, my mind is trying to catch up. It's trying to go all the way back where I was trying to remember my living there and all the things that I'd experienced there, all the good times, occasional sad, that I experienced there. So while he's talking, it's just like a movie. He's talking in the background. I'm hearing like some helicopters and everything in the background because he had the phone on speaker. So I'm hearing the propellers and everything. And he'll tell me to hold on in a minute when it gets loud. So people are talking in the background. It sounds just like a movie set. So he's while he's talking, I'm hearing more of the background than I'm hearing what he's saying because I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to gather myself. And let me tell you what it's like, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost as if somebody's telling you something that's bad for someone else. And it's almost as if they're wanting you to feel a certain kind of way. Let's say they want you to feel sorry or have some sort of emotional attachment. And then you don't. Well, that's how I was when he first told me that. Because I had been so, let me tell you, I've spent 25 years going in and out, thinking about that home. I've gone 25 years thinking about the police, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, U.S. Customs, all lying me down on the ground with their weapons to my head. All I can do is remember where the guy kicked me in my balls and I thought he shot me in the head. I thought about all these things, right? So that's the bad. Then I thought about all of my family heirlooms, man, all of my pictures and paintings, photos of family and friends, pictures of my mom and my dad, items that I had forgotten that I owned. All sorts of things just came running through and rushing through my mind. And I wanted to forget those things. And when he said that that house had burned to ash, I tried to run all those thoughts back through my mind again. And you know, I had to think about all of that to try and force myself to feel sad or sorry about that house being destroyed. So I had to put myself in a place of feeling good, only so I can feel sad, if that makes sense. So all of the feelings, all the emotions just rushed back in. And over 25 years, man, I had exercised that connection to that home. I had exercised the connection to all those memories, right? And you know, then it hit me. And when it hit me, I shed a tear. Here's why. I start looking at the situation much deeper. You know, when the feds took that house from me, I was hurt. felt broken. I felt that I had lost everything. Everything. And I'm talking, again, all my pictures, money, a bunch of material stuff. I lost it all. But it was the memories that were so valuable. And in 25 years, I got over it. I hadn't thought about that property since. But then when he told me that last night, I thought about it again and again and again. But I couldn't get my level of angst. I couldn't get my level of missing it to the point that I had done over those 25 years when I was incarcerated. But I show you something, and this is what I want to share with you, right? Just when you think that things can't be worse, right? They could always be, and you can be spared, and you don't look at how you are blessed. So I sat back and I had to think about this in the abstract. What if I had still owned that home? What if I had still been living there? You see, then I'll be going through what I'm going through now. Well, not exactly, but figuratively speaking, I would have lost everything anyway. So yeah, it took some time, but you see, it's the same thing that happened. I felt no kinship to this home anymore because I had exercised it. And it's almost as if, I don't know about the people who own it now, man. You know, my prayers go out to them, and I hope no one perished in the fire, nor did my friend tell me that one did or anyone had. But see, God prepared me 25 years ago for this particular situation, because I doubt if I could have gotten it. And you know, we don't recognize and realize how blessed we are just when we think that things can get no worse for us. And sometimes we think that, you know what, we're doing so bad, man. Everybody's doing better than us. But I tell you right now, and this is the God's honest truth, I never wish to go to prison. I'd never wish to have gone for a day, let alone 25 years, right? But I don't think I would have wanted to experience all of that now in my older age with the losing of a home. And they're going to have problems with insurance the whole bit, because homes that were in the hills and where they were subjected to mudslides and brush fires the whole bit, insurance companies stopped writing policies on properties like that. So now at the age of my age now, I would have had to deal with all of this madness. And we don't know if we could have dealt with it the same now as I had back then in all those years. Because see, you know, when you get older, man, things have a tendency to take a toll on you, man. You know, it starts off as one thing, man, and it ends up as another. And at the age that I am now, man, the mindset that I'm in, man, I don't want no stress. And I know I'm just your average Joe. But on CNN and NBC Today News, I see, man, all these actors and actresses all these movie stars, and there's plenty that we haven't seen. And see, I lived in an area right amongst all of them. And it just goes to show you that, man, you know, nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt, y'all. And after watching the news telecast, my heart went out to a lot of the people there, man. They were crying. This guy couldn't even explain. He said, man, when I left here, I had a home. He said, now I come back. He said, I don't know what this is. And he broke down and started crying like a baby. And like I said, I can't remember a lot of these entertainers' names, but here's the irony. The fire is only threatening most of the wealthier part of Los Angeles. You know, Pacific Palisades, all the way back to certain parts in the valley, on down to Highland and Hollywood. It's affecting those areas. Man, over in the hills, over in the hood, man, Baldwin Hills for the black folk, and Parkview, man, nothing's going on there. Nothing. And I know many of you are going to say, well, man, you know, it's the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, man. They're getting their just due the whole bit. Well, you know, look, let's not cast any stones, man. You know, God's agenda or God's program is God's program, man. You know, we shouldn't say what a person deserves or don't deserve, all right? You know, we'll leave that for the judge. But, you know, it's just irony. And as I'm watching the news, you have the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, a black woman. Her name's Miss Bass. Miss Bass is the mayor, and she's on TV, and she's talking about getting the first responders and emergency units and everybody available, and you know, setting up triage at the burn centers and stuff like that. And then you had one reporter asked her, he said, so Miss Bass, how do you feel now that you cut the budget for emergency units, the fire department and what have you? And man, she was broken. She could not answer that. She felt horrible. So that's the same thing that happened to the mayor in New Orleans when this situation happened. And they gave her flack for what wasn't there, even though they were in the process of putting these barriers up that could have possibly stopped a vehicle from running over people. But here's another sister that's about to they're about to walk her through the gauntlet. And that's what's happening with the mayor in California. But you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, every mayor is not held to the same standards, man. And they're going to hold this, you know, they're going to hold these black women feet to the fire, man. And they're going to burn them at the stake. And when you take office and you get in and you talk about cutting a budget, that's what the president's going to do. He's going to try to eliminate the education department. He's going to cut the budget on He's going to cut the budget on many of things, man, because that's the only thing that he can do, especially if you can't get any money from any place else. So now, when this sister got in office, she had to be the one to cut the budget. It makes it look like she's the one that's making all these horrible decisions. But sometimes situations are so bad that she has to make that decision. The person that preceded her should have made those decisions and didn't. And they saved the dirty dishes for her. So now all people are going to remember is that you're the incoming mayor and you're a black woman and you screwed over us, and you cut the budget for first responders and the whole nine. See, I remember years ago when I lived in LA, in that area that I'm telling you about, whenever there was a real dry summer and there wasn't that much rain, they used to have a big, huge plane, man, like a military C-130 or C-140, and they would go out, man, and they'd just fly out. I didn't know what they were doing until I just kind of figured it out, until somebody really confirmed my thoughts. These planes would fly out to the ocean, and they had a scoop of some kind, and they would scoop up all this water and pull it back up to the plane. And then this big, huge, massive plane would fly over a certain area, a certain terrain, and just pour this water all over these areas, right? That was to moisten the soil, the greenery, and what have you. So if in fact there was a brush fire, it wouldn't spread as rapidly, and giving the first responders a chance to come out and maybe control it, right? But this fire that they have going now, it hadn't rained in Los Angeles in 8 months. The mayor has nothing to do with that, right? And in 8 months, man, you have miles and miles. They say about 1,000 square miles of dry kinder. That's firewood waiting to happen. Every last one of those people that lost their homes that was on television, man, all these people are multi-millionaires. And all of them now are just spewing anger and vitriol at this black lady, at this mayor. They're blaming her. And see, what we have to understand one thing, man, I don't know how. First of all, when it comes to politics, everything is linked together, because it's almost like you have to continue running the city or continue running that particular office or branch with some continuity of the person that was before you. Because you're going to have to hand the ball off to someone after you. And you just can't stop something abruptly and then change and start doing something totally different. That'll upset the apple cart in ways you couldn't even imagine. So it's like working shifts. A person worked from 8 to 4. And whatever they left off, you have to pick up from 4 to 12. All right? And then when you get ready to leave, you got to leave a log for the person that's going to come from 12 to 8 a.m. So when you take office, this is the same thing with politics. You wasn't just sitting on the side and just sitting back and waiting and say, as soon as I get in, I'm going to cut these funds. Well, the budget probably was so screwed, and this was the only place where you can take money and you're banking on something not happening that would be catastrophic. And you can go ahead and place that money to some place where it was needed just a little more urgently. And sometimes we make the wrong bet. We make the wrong call. And that is what happened. And New Orleans did the same thing to Nagin, man. They blame Nagin for a lot of the things that happened. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he couldn't put his finger in the dike. He didn't destroy the levee. That shit was eroded with mayors before him and before that mayor. Excuse me. So we all have a part to play, but it just so happened that they're going to blame this sister, man. They're going to give her a hard time. And you can rest assured, it's going to be the longest ride of her life. The mayor of New Orleans, they're giving her flack. But over so many things that has happened in New Orleans, man, she has a thick skin for it. She doesn't care at this point. And I think this is probably her last term. I think she may be a lame duck candidate. So she doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? and Mayor Nagin, bless his heart, he's home out of prison and the whole bit, looking much better, looking healthier. Because you're under a lot of stress, you're under a lot of bullshit, and you have to make knee-jerk decisions in the whole net. I don't know why in the world, man, any sane person would want to be a politician. And I think that most people, there are two kinds of people I think that become politicians, right? One who's delusional and think that they can control the world. They are a hopelessly sick romantic, and they're thinking, and they're in love with the fact that I can save the people, I can save the world. Only until you get in there and you realize that you can't. And the other, someone that is cool, cold, and calculate. And they're getting in there to steal some shit. They don't give a shit about the people one way or another. They're going to get in there, they're going to get their hands on that bag. And that's the budget. So, those are the two. But other than that, I would never want to be a politician. Because a politician truly is like the captain of a ship, the captain of a vessel with sails. And what I mean by that is, no matter which way the wind blows, that vessel must stay the course. Meaning that the wind is the public. The wind is the people. So the wind is going to blow a bunch of different ways. So the sails are your morals. If your morals are set one way, then it cannot sustain the wind needed to propel it forward in its masses. So you have to adjust your wind. You have to adjust your masses, your sails to the wind that's blowing in order to stay the course. So that means that as a politician, putting it in, maybe you don't get my comparison, but here's the point, right? Now you're telling a bunch of lies. You're saying anything, that's your masses, to be able to catch the wind, right? That's your constituents, in order to prepare your vessel moving forward, and that's your candidacy. So you will say anything, do anything, man, just to try and stay the course. Today you're against something, tomorrow you're for it. By the third day, you never heard of it. I've had friends and a relative or two that was involved with politics, not necessarily at a huge level, but they were involved. And man, at a Thanksgiving dinner, you know who we have here? I'll wave at you. At a Thanksgiving family gathering, man, this person would tell a lie. They'll say, man, who carved the turkey? Well, who's ever asking it, he's going to say that he did it, right? Because he figure that person, want to compliment him. And as soon as that person say, man, you did a horrible job, Betty. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, this turkey? No, I didn't do this turkey. I did a turkey at my home. And, you're telling bald-faced lies, just trying to keep the ball in the air and the whole bit. But that's a politician. That's politics. I'm careful whenever I'm dealing with anyone that's involved in politics, man. I don't care how well I know them. Because they have an agenda, and that agenda could be so simple as them trying to keep their job. They will lie and they will say anything that their constituents want to hear. And you can't plan for a catastrophe. These Santa Ana winds, man, and the winds this year was anywhere between 80 to 100 miles per hour. The colder winds at the north The cooler winds at the north and the warmer winds at the south, and they're both turning counter to one another. And it was a recipe made for disaster, because in the middle is where the fire is. So now in the middle is where the fire started, and now those winds are pushing that fire straight down to the ocean. First of all, if you didn't have either one of those winds, you would not have had the catastrophe that you're having right now. And they could have controlled that fire, because they could have cut it off. But now the fire is jumping the highway. It's jumping the freeway, and it's landing on the other side, and it's burning everything that's in its way. You are going to be definitely surprised and dismayed and hurt by everything, by all these people that we know of that's losing their homes. I just wanted to come on and share that with you, man. And like I said, sometimes, man, God prepare you for things. And, hey, his plan, man, not mine. Maybe his plan then was to lock me up, man, at that point in time, so I could get over a situation that was coming, like with this right here. Man, it's a cruel joke, but I get it. This morning, I am happy to wake up as me and not them. Though my heart goes out to them and their families. So whatever it is I lost, everything that I've lost then, I would have lost all that now. So you see, a 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. And it was just mixed emotions. I was just wondering why I was just so somewhat confused. And because when he told me, I felt nothing. Then I was hurt. Then I started feeling pain. I started feeling sad. Then I felt tears. And then ultimately it's like, wow, it was God trying to tell you something. And I know I may have confused you guys on this long drawn out topic, but shit, no more than I've confused myself. But sometimes you don't get the punchline until it comes to the end. And just when you think that situations are bad for you here, just when right now you start complaining about your shoes are too tight, right? I have a friend that I'm going to go and visit as soon as this video is over, as soon as this podcast is over. I'm going to the residential rehab, to visit. This brother has already had one of his feet amputated, just above the ankle. Right? And on Monday coming, they're going to amputate the second. And you know what? Let me show you what's weird. All I can do is report it. And I try to let it marinate in my head. And I get it. When they cut the first one off, he was upset about it. Even though the pain had subsided. Well, this one here is hurting him so badly. And he's not feeling any pain in the other one that's amputated. Until now, he can't wait for this one to be amputated. So here's a man that's wishing he get his foot cut so it could ease the pain. But yet you've been complaining about your shoes are too tight. Here's a man sitting next to you with one foot and he can't wait to get the other one amputated. Man, it's a bizarro world. So let's stop complaining. And let's stop blaming others for our misfortunes. And let's stop thinking that your world is the perfect world. And it's about to crash. It's about to crash because, you can't get an Uber or you can't get a ride someplace on time. And you feel that your world's about to end. And in California right now, it really looks like it's the end of the world. It's on the news right now. Dark. It's 9:30 there in the morning, in the a.m., and it's dark with the clouds and the smoke, and it looks like it's 9:30 p.m. Give thanks, everybody. Give thanks. And be humble. Because if not, you can be humbled. So much we can say, but I must get a move on. Man, I appreciate you sitting with me as we tell this fireside story. And, look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow, man. We get back on course. But, again, thank you for coming on board. You all go out and have a wonderful Thursday. Right? May God bless. Peace, everyone.